Guess who's coming to dinner? Happy Monday. Happy Monday and welcome to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Evidently, I seemed like I started before it said I was going live, but I'm my own videographer, my own director, my own producer. So you just have to kind of live with it. I want to welcome everyone to the show today. We're going to get down to the real nitty gritty and talk about some things that a lot of people here in Louisville have stepped out on becoming entrepreneurs. We have a very entrepreneurial spirit in the Ville. And today I've got some ladies from Metro government that we're going to talk about that. So if you know somebody that has a business, wants to start a business, go find them, go call them up. Or if you can't reach them, you watch this show for them. That's how help me help you, help me help you. That's what we do. If they're not available, they might be out actually running their business and they can't see this show. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and present to others, Miss Rebecca Fleischaker, Director and Co-Chief of the Department of Economic Development at Metro Government. Hi, Miss Rebecca.
Good evening, Janice. Good to be with you.
I'm thrilled to have you, because me trying to be an entrepreneur myself, I need some information as well. Mm-hmm. So I thought, while I'm getting mine, then some other folks can get some of the same information. How about that? And we're going to bring along your sidekick. Is this your sidekick? Miss Christy Jarboe. Hi, Christy. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you? And yes, I am her sidekick.
Hey, all right now. Girls are in the house making things happen.
That's right.
Showing you how to maneuver. So first, Rebecca, why don't you start out by telling us, what does the Department of Economic Development do?
Sure. So we have a couple of different verticals where we work. Small business is definitely one of them and probably our busiest over the last 2 years. We also do, and I'll come back to that. We also work on medium to large size businesses. So if you are a small, medium, or large size business, no matter where you're located in Louisville, Jefferson County, we will work with you. That is for locating a second location. It is for starting. It is for figuring out how to grow. And if you're looking for a new location, we could recommend where your service, where your product might be in a good location for you to open up bricks and mortar.
Okay.
We also do international economic development. So that's kind of a portion of what we call our cluster team. So if you are a company that is exporting to international companies, or we are always trying to attract international investment, foreign direct investment. So we're always trying to work with our international partners in building our economy. And then globalization. Our Office of Globalization is how we work with our immigrants and refugees to make Louisville a more welcoming city, how we can help folks who are looking to make America, and especially Louisville, their new home, and how we can connect those folks to resources, to other business networks. This might be one of them. Mm-hmm. And neighborhood associations and business associations. So back to small business. My sidekick, Christy, heads up our small business team. And we work with, we call entrepreneurs, just like you, who are looking for strategic planning, financial planning. Sometimes it's actual money. Sometimes it's just assistance on what are the basics? Who's your market? What is your price point? What's the demographic you're going after? Where should you locate your company? All the basics so that you know the business better than anybody else. And then we help you, depending on where you are, we will meet you where you are, try to get the resources you need and to open. Our goal is to help you open or grow.
All right.
You're expanding.
All right. So Miss Christy, now maybe you can take me from, okay, I've got a business that I want. I remembered that I went down to the county clerk's office and I registered my name.
Right.
correct?
Right.
Okay, so after you do that, because and I'm right now my business is just Janice Carter Miller DBA Jantastic Productions.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just doing business as a sole proprietor.
Okay.
For those that don't understand, sole proprietor means basically I'm the owner of the business.
Right.
Okay, and take it from there for me, Christy.
And as a sole proprietor, you don't need to file your taxes every quarter. As a sole proprietor, you file taxes just like anybody that's working at a regular job or not. You file taxes annually. So that makes a difference when you're a sole proprietor. If you don't have all the expenses of an employees and overhead and all that, it's a whole lot easier.
Okay.
But I will say for those who are the entrepreneur dreamers, the dreamerpreneurs, I guess.
Okay.
Going and registering your business is like step 3, Yeah. So,
Really? Okay.
yes, because really understanding, researching, and understanding your idea, that's where it really starts. Now, you've been doing what you've been doing for a while. So it makes sense, right?
Right.
And a lot of people that want to start businesses clearly have the knowledge to start the business. So, if you're a caterer or an event planner or a mechanic, you know how to do that business. Well, and that's great, but it's going to be really important to know the actual business technical things. So in other words, say I want to open a mechanic business and, well, where should it be? Should it be, at my house? Can I do that? Is the zoning right? Can I do that kind of thing at my house? Well, there's some research. Do I want to do it on Dixie Highway? Maybe so. But what if I pick a location that's right next to another mechanic? So the kind of research that has to be done in advance of deciding what your business structure is going to be. Is it going to be a sole proprietor? Is it going to be an LLC? It's all about what it is, what you can dream and what you can make it. So that research element is really important. And that's when working with what we call our small business resource providers is so important. In the stage of doing research on your business, one of the best resources is the Louisville Free Public Library. You got a library card, you've got access to business research. But another one of our super #1 partners is the Small Business Development Center. They actually have coaches that will assist you in that research. Louisville Metro Government, we have maps that can show you where all the restaurants are in Louisville. Okay. So that when you're looking at a location, you want to find out where the other restaurants are. You don't want to open up a soul food kitchen right next to a soul food kitchen. Okay. I mean, you could, but it might not be the best idea. Okay. So, we really start by fleshing out the idea, the dream, and getting that on paper. And that can be
that's when you're talking about the business plan.
Yeah, and it even starts a little bit. So we like to sort of ease people into that business plan with what we call the business model canvas. Now, that's a fancy name brought up by the entrepreneurs that are trying to sell, high-tech gear and things like that. But what it's good for, it's a 1 page, and it has you put all the things that are in here onto paper. And we expect the folks that we work with to make many drafts of this first business model canvas, because while they're writing it, they're thinking and they're doing their research and they're talking to other people. They're talking to potential customers. They're talking to their friends and their family, because I'll tell you what, one of the things that dreamerpreneurs need to do is be able to explain their business very well. First, to their loved ones and friends and their colleagues and coworkers, so that they can get questions from those people that they already trust and that say, hey, I didn't think about that question before. So all of it, where it really starts is that research.
Okay.
And once you start answering your own questions, then it's time to get in with a coach, like at the Small Business Development Center, like at SCORE, like at many, we have the business reference librarian at the library. That's where, myself and Emmanuel on my team, and we're growing our team now, can sit down and have a conversation with people about, okay, where are we? How far are we? And we get these dreamerpreneurs into talking to coaches and building that business plan and understanding what their startup costs are going to be and how much they have maybe to invest in it and what their social capital is. So, I would say, Miss Janis, that you've got some really serious social capital. People know who you are. People know you're going to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. So that's really high social capital. And that's what every business owner needs because, you're starting out from a place of trust. So that's why I say during that research period, it's really great to talk to your friends and the folks at church and your potential customers to really make sure that you're on point with what you want to do.
Right.
And the rest of it is really technical support with coaches and then pointing you towards financial resources. Sometimes we have to ask uncomfortable questions from folks like, what is your credit score? How is your credit?
Right.
And that may be an uncomfortable question, but the thing is that even if the answer isn't the best, then we have resources for that. We've got folks that can do coaching on financial literacy and financial health, both for your personal life and for your business. We have partners that provide credit building loans, like start with $500, pay that back. That's reported to the credit agency and your tick, 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 your credit score goes up higher and higher. And that makes you more bankable.
Okay.
And as much as people, and there's plenty of historic reasons that there's a lot of distrust out there. The only way you grow your business is with more cash. Now, if you can get that cash from under your mattress, that's great. But the best thing to do is to get it from a financial institution, even if it's one of our partners or a bank. Being bankable is incredibly important.
Let me ask you, Rebecca, take me through now. I know last year was tumultuous for us, and the city is still trying to recover from, I guess, maybe just the awakening about the awareness of inequities in a lot of programs being Guess who's coming to dinner? I know last year was tumultuous for us, and the city is still trying to recover from, I guess, maybe just the awakening about the awareness of inequities in a lot of programs, being able to play from a even field. How tell me about Louisville Forward. How is Louisville Forward? What is anything in your mission geared towards helping the African American community start to level up and be able to play on the same playing field in business?
Yes, and that is a great question. So as a city agency, we serve all. And for years, we have basically served who has found us, who has come to us. And because of the last 2 years, we realized that maybe there is distrust in the community, that folks don't want to work with government, or that they don't know about us, minorities in particular who don't know about us. So what we have tried to do is be much more intentional about how we offer our services and how we market those services. And we did put money in our budget this year to specifically help minority-owned businesses, and that is different than we've done in years past. So we are trying to find different ways and different tools where we can help minority-owned businesses learn the tools that they need, or be able to realize what they don't have to grow or start a business, and also to that technical assistance that Christy's talking about. What are the various different avenues of getting that out there? So we may not provide that access directly, but we're providing funds to make that more accessible, specifically to minority-owned businesses. So we did put.
Well, how are you doing? How is it getting to the minority-owned business? How?
Let me tell you what we're doing. So we've got about $13 million that went into our FY22 budget. 2.7 million of that is going to Urban League. They are using that as not all, but probably the biggest portion of their funding to create is going to be kind of a minority entrepreneur center. So how can they bring the back office services that small businesses need that you don't want to have to pay for, or that just is really cumbersome to have to pay for alone? That's your legal, accounting, marketing, your office services, and also technical assistance. Again, there are so many things that a business, as you probably know, Miss Janice, being a small business owner, you've got the product or the service that you want to sell, but you're also the one bringing somebody up at the cash register, and you're cleaning the toilet in the bathroom, and you are the one going to restock whatever it is you need. You're doing everything, and that's just really hard, and not always the most efficient way to run a business. So the technical assistance that folks may not have the time or the money to get, we're trying to get money into hands of folks who can provide that. We also put $200,000 into a new minority business incubator. That was actually put out for bid on through a request for proposal, and Keena Stiff won that, and she has created a new incubator. It's called The Well, and she is in the midst of building out space for this. It's on Dixie Highway, and she will be, we're hoping, launching at the beginning of the year, where she will be able to take, I think, up to 30. Christy, is that right? Up to 30 people in her incubator to begin with those technical assistants, so the small business resource providers, and Christy went through some of those.
Yeah, it's sort of an more intense environment where everyone's working together, which is a great, a great environment when you're working with other entrepreneurs. The energy's so good. So the Well is gonna be a conduit for people to start and
they kind of collaborate. You mean they kind of come in as a group and work together?
Well, everybody's got their individual. Well, everybody's got their individual business. Okay. But I'm going to tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, and the best way to learn is to be around your peers.
Okay.
Everybody tells their stories. I mean, I bet you talk about your business a lot, and in my many years in this, the entrepreneurs that I've worked with and for have not been shy about talking about their failures. And if you can share those kinds of things with other people, you are enriching their experiencing and teaching them.
Right.
So not only do we have over a dozen, almost 20 small business resource providers that can provide this information, the incubator gives you an opportunity to be around your peers, other Black folks that are starting. Maybe they're starting their second business, or maybe they've had their business open for about 5 years or so, but they need strengthening. So they come into the fold of the well and learn, the skill, build the tools that they need around other Black entrepreneurs that are doing the same thing.
Okay. All right. That sounds interesting. The well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me about the coaches, because I know that was on my list of what you told me. That was part of my to-do. You sent me a coach, the organization where I would find me a coach, to kind of guide me through, because I'm trying to level up. Right. I'm trying to go from just being here on the internet to being on cable TV.
Right.
I'm trying to make this show not just local, but national. Expansion, girl.
Expansion.
There we go. And I want to be intentional.
Yes.
I love the word intentional. Intentional has come into play in the last 2 years. Everything that's going on in society right now is very intentional, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, everything is very intentional, and I think people need to just, when you focus on something, especially when you're going into business, your focus has to be intentional.
If it's not intentional, it's not worthwhile.
No, you're going to be sliding off the rails, because if you stay focused, that's intentional. So one of the things that I know that a few years ago, when I moved back to Louisville, that I already had my company. And so I went and signed up. Like I said, I went to the clerk's office. I signed up. I got my bank account. Not that I was necessarily getting ready to do business, but if I wanted to do business, I would be set up. And one of the things that I had to do was to sign up with Metro Revenue Commission.
Global Metro Revenue Commission.
Okay. So talk about what that is so people will understand why they need to do that as well.
Rebecca, you want me to take that?
I can, either way. So Metro Revenue Commission is where you would pay your taxes. So if you are going to be a bona fide business, we want you to pay your taxes.
Right.
So you would register with the Revenue Commission that's local, as well as the state's Department of Revenue. And that is really important for a couple of reasons, not only because city services and what you get living here is provided to you through taxes, but also because you're able as a legitimate business to show that you're on the books and that you would probably be able to qualify for bank loans. And for instance, our grant program last year that we had, through the Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program, if you are not registered with the Revenue Commission, you are not able to get any program that offers taxpayer money. So any federal, state, or local taxpayer money. So it is very important that you want to show that you are a legitimate business on the books, and that qualifies you for some more, usually for other assistance as well. A bank would need the same information.
That's something that I don't think a lot of businesses know.
Right.
I know it.
They say, why do I need? Well, in order to get from A to B, you need to be a part of the play in the right playing.
You gotta be in the game.
Got to be in the game, and that's
and I'm gonna say something that might end up sounding controversial to some of your audience, but and you as a sole proprietor, like, so you have someone, maybe you have someone that does your taxes,
right?
Well, listen. No, everybody wants to pay as few taxes as they can, right?
Right.
But for a business owner, if you work with the only accountant you work with, there's not even an accountant, maybe it's just a tax preparer.
Right.
Their job is to make sure you pay as few taxes as possible.
Right.
But there's a consequence to that. If that's the way you operate your business, when it comes time to talk to the bank or talk to any of the other alternative financing resources for minority and women-owned businesses and businesses in low to moderate income areas, if you can't show you've been making money, now why would they give you more money? So,
okay.
So, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, okay. I see your point.
I mean, so when, and we learned so much about this with the grant program last year. It's federal taxpayer dollars, right? So we needed to know how well people were doing in 2019 so that we could compare it with this horrible circumstances of 2020 and still going on. We needed to compare it with what they were doing. And so many of our business owners did not have that information.
Right.
Because they were flying by the seat of their pants.
Right.
They had Venmo and PayPal, these cash, they were having cash businesses. Okay. So when it comes to really showing what your business is worth, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And they knew how much it was worth because they had their kids involved and they were serving the community, restaurants and childcare and salons and barbers and all that. It's the biggest mistake some folks can make if they want a legit, sustainable, growing business is to not keep hold of your finances. Not look at your books, not have an accountant or a bookkeeper.
Right.
And Ms. Janis, we weren't here during last summer, we were not here to point fingers or to get anybody in trouble. It was just something that we knew, that we saw. It really hurt us that we couldn't help these businesses the way we wanted to.
Okay.
And it really showed us this is how we need to be helping some businesses that just don't know.
That they need to make sure that they have what they need to have in order to get some financial assistance.
Yeah, we learned that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll tell you, I met some of the nicest. I mean, we met so many people. We heard stories and people that had been doing business for 20 years, but they were doing business the way they knew how to do business.
Right.
And until you realize you need something as crazy as the pandemic, well, God knows what else could happen.
Yeah.
You've got to have your business in a place where you can say, this is what I do, this is what I make, and I'm strong and ready to move forward.
And for people like myself, because what I do, I know about deductions, because being an entertainer, years ago, we had a lot of deductions, whatever money that I was making when I was singing out in Las Vegas, that I had. Well, first I got in tax trouble. That's really one way that I learned. And that never happened.
Well, you learn, isn't it?
Yeah. But that never happened again, because then I knew to put down all my expenses. I paid my band members. I got my hair fixed. I bought clothes to sing in. All those, I traveled every time I went.
Everything.
I
Gas.
paid everybody's airplane tickets. All of that came. Those were my deductions in order to come out with the income that I made for that year. I was able to subtract all the money that I spent. And see, sometimes it's just as simple as keeping up with the money that you're spending as far as deductions. Now things have changed a little bit. They've given us a blanket standard deduction for a single person or a married person, that all those things now come under that. Your interest from your home, the medical, all of that was lumped in together. Now, I don't know if so people need to pay attention to the changes in the tax laws.
Yep.
Whether you've got 10 workers or just yourself, because it can help you or it can hurt you.
Well, and you've learned so much in all the things that you've done. Yeah. But, it's just as important to know how you're going to spend money as is how to make it.
Right.
Okay. You're going to make, God willing, you're going to make money in your business, but you've got to know and very intentionally decide what you're going to spend your money on.
Yeah.
And a lot of our businesses are spending money on rent and food and everything else, which is great. But, you find that if you don't put money back into your business because you need your hair done, you need a new a costume or dress, that's money that goes back into your business. And, it sounds intimidating to, I can't afford an accountant or, a bookkeeper, but I'm going to tell you, you most likely can, and you might not be able to afford not to. But when
you really can't afford not to have one.
Exactly. And what Rebecca had said about the Well and other resource partners is that they're doing that back of house thing. We're going to, you're going to come into that incubator and you're going to have an accountant,
right?
Not just a tax preparer. You're going to have an accountant. You're going to be able to consult with an attorney and say, well, is a sole proprietor best for me, or maybe I should use an LLC for my liability.
Right.
And another thing, Miss Janice, that we see a lot. I get a lot of calls of somebody saying, I just got my LLC. Okay, what do I do now? So, there are a lot of people that are paying somebody to help them set up an LLC before they've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
To see if they really need an LLC, if they're at a stage in their business where they need it.
You watch where you spend your money. And let me tell you, you don't need to pay somebody to start an LLC, but you do need advice. You do need advice from folks, and you need to know where to ask advice, and you need to have options for that advice because, it's not one size fits all. You may end up with a coach at the Small Business Development Center and say, I'm going to call Christy back and say, this isn't really working right for me. You got somebody else, and you better believe I do. Okay. It has to be an intellectual and a cultural fit for you to be able to trust somebody to give you advice about your business. Absolutely. And we will make sure that happens.
Absolutely. The other thing that I wanted to say was I had Miss Verna Goatley on, right? And
worked with her for years.
Yeah, and in our conversation, she said, and she was telling me what the Human Relations Commission does. And she says, and we certify businesses. I said, what? She says, yes, we certify. She says, well, Janice, I said, well, I'm not certified with you. She said, well, you need to come be certified. So that's on my list, that's something that I need to do, because when bids come out or when there's an opportunity for small businesses to participate in the bigger picture of being able to market their services to the community, those types of things are looked at. Has your business been certified, more or less? Are you registered, in order to be a vendor?
Are you who you say you are? That's what certification is. Are you who you say you are? Because we want to do more business with women. We want to do more business with Black men and women owned businesses, with minorities, with immigrants, with veterans, with disabled persons. Right. But certification is nothing more than proving that you are who you say you are. And then the great thing that goes after that is then you start realizing how many businesses out there want the same thing. We've been doing business with the same old people for all these years. We need to mix it up. We need to be inclusive and equitable. So give us a list of Black business owners. Give us a list of women business owners. Give us a list of Black women business owners.
And they won't be on that list if they're not certified. Is that
right? That's right.
It also helps businesses.
Let me tell did y'all hear that? You got to get on the list.
It also helps businesses when they're tracking their spend with women and minority-owned businesses, because they want to meet certain goals. So if you're on that list and they can do business with you, then that's going to help them show how they're spending more of their money with minority and women-owned businesses as well. which is important to all of us.
It is. And it's more and more and more important. And I think these past 2 years that we've all been through,
Yeah.
with an awakening, I think you said awakening earlier. You know, I worked in diversity and inclusion in the supply chain before I came to the city. This kind of work has been going on for a long time. You know, but now the organization Louisville Forward, we help the business owners get to where they need to be able to compete fairly for business. But if you certify your business, then those that want to do more business from an equitable standpoint, they know how to find you.
Right. So then you can work on getting on those vendors lists,
Yes,
like
ma'am.
at the convention center, when conventions come into town, that you can shop your wares to you know, because if you're not
Anybody in the world can find you.
Yes. Oh, I liked all of this. This was, as they say, on and popping. Because people need to know, and in order to grow, there are little steps, and sometimes these are steps that are left out.
Yeah.
That can help you move up.
Yeah.
You've taken them, you know. So
and the help is here.
Okay.
And the help is here. And you know, the difference between a for-profit business and government is for-profit businesses, you know, they're out there with billboards and bus stop signs and radio ads and all that. Well, that's not how the government works. We don't spend taxpayer dollars that way.
Right.
So we have to hope somebody like Jantastic Productions finds us so that we can share information and get that word out. And that's one of the things that Rebecca certainly charges my team to do, is to get out to as many people as we can to make sure that they know that help is out there. And you know what? You're a taxpayer. It doesn't cost you anything. That's what I tell a lot of people. I said, just remember, you're already paying me. You might as well call me.
Right. Well, you know, I'm going to say this, that this conversation that we're having, because the information is not as fluid as it needs to be in the African-American community, to know that there is a program called Louisville Forward. They might know that there's an economic development, but now getting into that, all the different clusters of ways that you can help people in business. Mom and pop got 4 or 5 people on a payroll.
Right.
I mean, you might have 2 or 3 different stores, but those other little steps that we mentioned today are just as important in order to give you visibility
and generational wealth.
Oh, absolutely.
You hand that business down to your daughter.
Yeah.
You hand that business down to your son or your nephew or niece, you know, build back what we took away.
Right. The little young girl that has whose, I guess, father had the asphalt company.
Mm-hmm.
And she's now running it.
She's running advanced ready mix.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was like when I heard that was her father's business. And I'm saying, well, she was smart enough to say, let me run daddy's business, because he built something to give to her.
Well, Burns Janitorial. You look at them,
Okay.
you know, gosh, the Cosbys are some of the most entrepreneurial people, you know, I've ever seen. And, you know, what we're trying to do is offer the help and get out of the way.
Okay.
And help people get out of their own way sometimes.
Yeah, true. Well, ladies, I applaud you and I thank you so much. You almost brought tears to my eyes that this kind of information is needed.
Yes, ma'am.
It's so important that it's the small things, it's the some things that are overlooked.
Yes.
Everybody's always looking at a big pictures, but sometimes you gotta, like you had to say, peel back that onion.
Yeah.
Go find that first one where it starts to peel.
Right.
You know, and then you can progress, because we won't move if we don't have information, and knowledge is key to everything.
Yes, it is. And being open to it. you know.
Yeah.
But it's easy to get to us, louisvilleky.gov/small business.
Can you see what I put in the chat, Miss Janice? I can't tell if that only went to.
You know what I'm going to do right here? What am I putting? Wait a minute.
Put in
Louisville what?
louisvilleky.gov/small business.
Christy, can you see the link I put in
I can.
the chat? Is it just you and me?
I just wanted to make it shorter.
That's what it turns into, though. That's what I put in there.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Hot diggity.
Look at you. Look
And
at
Miss
you.
Janice, it really helps us to be able to talk to people like you who can share what we're saying with other people. We can't.
There you go.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Hot diggity.
Look at you. Look
And
at
Miss
you.
Janice, it really helps us to be able to talk to people like you who can share what we're saying with other people. We can't obviously find everybody to talk to everybody, or not everyone raises their hand and even knows to come to us. So,
And you can come back to me.
well,
Say,
we will do
let's
that.
Let's do this again.
Oh, yeah, you
we
better
might
believe
cover
it.
some other areas, but let's do this again.
Yeah.
On a
And we'd
regular
like to,
basis.
we'd like to share your podcast with, the Black Business Association.
Oh,
You know,
I didn't even know we had a Black business
we
association
do.
in Louisville.
And I will be
Yeah,
happy to introduce you to Tanika Bryant, who has the Black Business Association. And she
Okay.
is looking to put videos on, most of everything she does is online, her
Okay.
resources, but she's looking to put videos that can help people out. And I'd be happy to introduce you to her.
We have a Black Chamber of Commerce too, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And
so-
we have LIBA, the Louisville Independent Business Alliance West. We have One West.
Liba, you said Liba?
LIBA West.
Liba West.
LIBA West is a program of LIBA. It's a business alliance for independently owned businesses. And they have
Burger King can't be a member.
What?
Burger King can't be a member. It's like
okay.
Shirley Mays.
It's not corporate.
Yeah.
So they have an initiative in West Louisville, and that's LIBA West.
Liba West. Well, I know it.
And you've got
Liba West.
Jedi with Tawana Bain, and she's got the Just Boss Up program. I mean, we can go on all day if you want.
Amped. Dave Christopher is amped.
Amped.
Amped. Well, I'm all into Amp.
Yeah.
I'm
So what
loving
he's
Amp.
doing, that back office support and that just really just digging in is
Right.
what we're trying to help create with the well that we funded.
Okay.
And so one of the I would say the most important thing we do, Miss Janice, is we're connectors.
Okay.
And all they have to, if they go to louisvilleky.gov/small business, there's a link there that says click here to inquire about resources for your business.
Okay.
And it's just a profile. It's not asking you about your taxes or anything else. Just tell us about yourself and what stage your business is in. And that comes directly to our team.
And that can start the conversation.
That starts the conversation. Yes.
All right. Well, Miss Rebecca and Miss Christy, y'all gonna hear a lot from me. Your phone's gonna be ringing off the hook. Say,
Are
what
we?
do you want
So much
now,
for
Janice?
having us.
And we answer our phones. So
But thank you both so much for joining me. I appreciate the conversation. And like I said, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is here to find solutions. And me being a business owner, then I needed to know as much about your services and what you all can do for me as everybody else needs to know.
well, you got me. So
I got you.
You already got me.
All right.
And just keep bringing interesting people to dinner.
Yes, I
Just
will.
keep bringing them.
I'll keep doing that because they need to know. I'm trying to kind of be, in a sense, like you. I'm trying to connect
You're the connector. Yeah.
because
That's what we need.
my philosophy is help me help you, help me help you. It was Jerry Maguire. It wasn't show me the money, but it was help me help
you.
You know,
Yes.
Lord, please help me. I can help you. If you help me, I can help you.
And you're wonderful at it. So thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for coming on, ladies. I have to call my friend and tell him thank you for hooking me up with the girls. I thank you so much. If you need me, you got my email.
Yes.
I'll be in touch because I got to get busy doing what I'm supposed to do.
We got to get you a coach.
Got to get me a coach.
Yep.
I got to go register my business.
I can help you do all that.
Okay, so I will be in touch very soon. Miss Rebecca, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Christy, you all have a good evening. Bon appetit. Go have dinner, girl.
Bon appetit.
Thank you.
All right.
Janice.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So now, was that enough information for you? I sure hope so. Because a lot of times we miss a piece of the puzzle that holds us back. We don't need anything holding us back. We need to move it on up. You know what I'm saying? We need to register our business so everybody else knows we're in business. They don't know we're in business. We might know so-and-so's got a food truck, but the rest of the city might need to know. And they might say, come park your truck over here by my business. I think you do very well, Big Al. Okay. On that note, it's dinner time. Guess who's coming to dinner? Well, that was an encore restream from Monday's show with the ladies from the Department of Economic Development at Metro Government that I was so hyped up about it that I wanted to play it again. But I wanted to come in and talk a little bit to you this evening about what's going on in the city right now. I want to, my family would like to share our condolences to the family of the young man who was gunned down at the bus stop. That has our city tied up in a knot. We were already in a knot. Now we got a double knot. We're trying to find our way out of this state of affairs in our city right now. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but I think it also needs to be not just a conversation or pointing fingers at city government, but parents need to come together. There needs to be some type of forum where parents can come together, because everybody may not be doing well in parenting right now. Or I'm not saying it's parents' fault that child got murdered, because anytime everybody's sending their kid to school, they have to get on the bus. But I'm saying we need to have some town halls maybe and find out if there are some issues in some households. If there's a gang issue in a household, how can a parent deal with that? You know, because you can tell your child, you better not be in the gang, but that does not make it so just because you say it. There used to be a thing years ago, it was called fear. It was a fear factor. We were afraid of our parents, which commanded high respect for them. You know, you wouldn't want anybody to tell your parents that you did something wrong that would embarrass them or disrespect them in any kind of way. I don't have that sense that that's the case now, you know, but there needs to be some conversations. There needs to be some counseling. There needs to be some intervention. There needs to be some tools, some parenting tools that people might need. You know, parenting does not come with a book. You know, and some people, your children model your behavior, whether you think so or not. Your children will model your behavior, how you resolve problems, if it's physical, if it's verbal, if it's not very tactful. Some people need to learn how to just at least talk to each other, because everybody's not going to agree, and you can't make people agree with you. I don't care if you say the sky is green and somebody says, I'm telling you that sky is orange. You cannot make people, you cannot physically make them in any kind of way agree with what you say, through fear, especially through fear. And evidently our children are fearful of other children. So my condolences go out to that family, and my prayers go out to all families that have children, school-age children. That there needs to be some other conversations being had at home. There are some other conversations that need to be had at home. You find out if your children are having problems at school. Is there someone that they are afraid of? This person doesn't have to necessarily be a bully, but it can cause anxiety in a child. And it seems as though sometimes when children are fearful that someone will do something to them, then they may take the stance of being prepared to get off first, retaliate before somebody hurts them. We got to find a better way. And we've got to teach our kids a better way to deal with those types of problems. I know the school system is trying to do the best that they can do. I guess they're trying to get the resource teachers back in the JCP lineup, the policemen in the schools. And I don't necessarily think it has to be police in schools, but someone like the counselor. I mean, it used to be the counselor that the children went to, that a child can go to, even just a standout teacher that the children feel comfortable with. The students need to know that there are teachers that will listen to them, and the teachers need to make themselves available. If a child comes to tell you something about any kind of abuse, any fear, any bullying, any threats being made towards them, you've got to take that information to the proper authorities. You got to go up the chain, but you've got to share that information, because if they're coming to you for you to help them. And our children need to know that they have somebody to go to help them. That's how I feel about that one. The other thing I want to do is condolences to go out to a gentleman that kind of paved the way for Blacks in the film industry. His name is Melvin Van Peebles. Sweetback. He passed away yesterday, and he was one of the first Blacks to start making movies. Richard Pryor, Melvin Van Peebles, who else? Fred Williamson. These are some Blacks that back in the day that got into the film industry. Whether you like the movies that they made or not, they paved the way. They were pioneers. And Melvin Van Peebles was one of those pioneers. So we send our prayers out to his family. The other thing I wanted to say is, so this coming Monday is real special for me. I have a high school classmate, a college classmate who has left the fold of Louisville, Kentucky, and moved to Washington, D.C., where for the past, 15, 20 years, he's been the anchor on WUSA DC. His name is Bruce Johnson. And if you don't remember Bruce, this is Bruce. That's Bruce Johnson. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay. All right. That's Bruce Johnson. And Bruce is going to be on our show on Monday. And we're going to... I'll set back in it. There we go. We're going to talk about his career. He has retired from WUSA, and he's written a book. He's gone through some challenges in his life's journey, and he's going to come on the show and talk to them with us on Monday, 7 p.m. on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. It'll be Bruce Johnson. I told him that he and Jan Waddell and another one of my friends that's no longer with us, Mr. Carl Davis, they gave me a nickname in high school, which is none of your business. But, you know, I remember a lot of what went on in high school and college. And when you see someone that does the things, he has a wonderful speaking voice. So all you thoroughbreds from Kentucky State, tune in. And all you, we were Indians back in the day, but now they're Shawnee Eagles. Bruce Johnson, resident of Washington, D.C., former anchor of WUSA, will be our guest for dinner on Monday. So on that note, I want you to have a safe weekend. I know our city's in knots. We just pray that we have a decent weekend, that there are no more deaths to report. It seems like it's an everyday, ongoing situation in our city right now. We need to find some healing, and we need to find some solutions. Our children need to have something more to do, and they need to have somebody to talk to, and families need somebody to talk to. Christopher 2X is wonderful. He's wonderful. I was glad to see that they had Dr. Eddie Woods on No More Red Dots today. Had him on an interview on the news this evening, because he has a program that's before someone's life is taken. You know, his team goes out into the homes in the community to find out who's beefing with who and see if they can't squash the beefs. That's very, very important. We have one organization that does that. I would think we need more. Or we at least need more people that are not afraid to go out and do that. You know I've got some friends out there, some people that walk tall, carry big sticks. You know, they may be directed in the wrong direction, but, you know, we need people that are not afraid to talk to our children, to get involved. I'm not afraid to talk to our children, so I got to find a way that I can be of help. So on that note, I'm going to say it's dinner time. Guess who's coming to dinner? Bon appetit. I'll see you on Monday when our guest is going to be Mr. Bruce Johnson. Take care.